Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the SuperNova Astrology Update for July 28th through August 4th, 2025. Well, how are you doing after that intense Leo new moon last week? We had Venus in square to Mars and the nodes of the moon. And so we've been feeling this intense tension within ourselves and in the world as we are attempting to overcome the great divide within this opposition, this divide and conquer agenda that goes back to Atlantean time. And so we are healing this rift within so that we can come back into collaboration. The astrology right now is full of ones and twos, and saying that it's time for us to come into wholeness so that we can collaborate and make more than the parts. We've been waiting for this time, supernovas, and the astrology, the stars, the planets are playing out quite a dance. And so that's the message from Mother Earth in these times, is that she says, can you dance with it? And can you dance on the other side of possibilities? Because what we're really feeling right now, and this started back in May, the beginning of May, and it will go through the end of September, Saturn and Neptune coming into exact conjunction in Aries at 1 degree. This is so incredibly powerful and an absolute confirmation of what it is we're doing here on Earth at this time. So Saturn is our manifest reality. Saturn is the last visible planet, and it represents the end of what we're allowed to know and the framework of this matrix physical world reality. So we've talked about how Saturn has been absconded and was taken over, and then physical reality was used to manipulate and restrict and imprison human consciousness. So we're overcoming all of this. It's been a long story that's been playing out through this whole evolution, and Supernova Soul, you have been there, whether in a body or on the astral plane from the beginning. We all can remember within us, and this is this unrest that we're feeling of this precious and beautiful connection to our Mother Earth that has been lost, and this deep desire to bring humanity back home to her, to the feminine, to the balance between the masculine and feminine. So this is what we learned from the Mars. Well, we're figuring it out, Venus square Mars and the nodes, because the nodes of the moon are destiny, right? So we're talking about the destiny of the female, the feminine, and the masculine and their relationship to each other. Squares are the most tension because they're 90-degree angle, but a 90-degree angle is about a radical shift and change. And so this time is about a radical shift and change around how we view the opposition or the opposite. Is it an enemy and something to fight against? Or is it a tool to release energy in a scalar wave? So this is the massive turnaround that's going on for supernova souls. Is, can we believe it in order to see it? Can we dance on the other side? Because Saturn is this manifest reality and the laws and rules and time itself, which has been manipulated and captured us. Now, but Saturn moving into Aries is saying it's a new start for time. Now, Saturn coming into conjunction with Neptune. Neptune is the dream, the possibilities, the ruler of Pisces. It's the very end of the zodiac, which is also the beginning. It's all the raw materials. It could be complete movie, delusion, lies, scripted reality, or it could be the dream. And so what we're doing right now at 1 degree Aries with Saturn and Neptune finally coming together as of August 1st. Now there's something very powerful about this day. August 1st is also when the Sun and Mercury will meet up. And August 1st is also when Venus will move over into the sign of Cancer, coming into square with Saturn and Neptune at 1 degree. So let's talk this through, because we're going to be feeling this through the energy of Venus square Saturn and Neptune is from the 30th of July through the 4th of August. So we're looking at that first week of August just being incredibly potent and powerful, because Venus and Mars just had their showdown. Venus is in that square with the nodes of the moon, Venus in Gemini, wanting to speak the truth of the feminine, the expression of the feminine, the intuitive understanding, the emotional, the connection, the love, the care. And so then that is in square to, was in square to Mars in Virgo. Mars ready to fight for Mother Earth now. The masculine must come back around to the worship of the feminine, and the feminine must receive that love and honor the masculine, within us, and so that we can then do it in the world and demonstrate the sacred marriage between these polar opposites. So everything is about this. And now we're having this massive shift. So we had that square with the nodes, the destiny. The feminine voice must be heard and the masculine must come around to the womanly arts, And so now it's very powerful that Venus is moving into the sign of Cancer and taking that tension of the square with Mars. So we're just coming out of that square. Venus square Mars through the 28th. And so we're just kind of coming out of that square, and now Venus moving into the sign of Cancer, and it's this beautiful expression. But for these next few days, we've got Venus at the very end degrees of Gemini, and this is bringing a feistiness forward, especially in supernova souls, of this feeling of this pressure cooker of all of what's inside of you that hasn't been expressed. And I am so sorry that this world has not been able to receive your precious, precious gifts, the treasures. You really are the treasures of Mother Earth when we're talking about the true wealth of this world. But things got all messed up in the Piscean age and through the whole dark era, dark age, the Kali Yuga. And so now we bring it back into the light. And the main darkness that's coming forward, because we're really feeling this with Mercury in square to Black Moon Lilith for this whole month of July. And so that Mercury is retrograde, in the sign of Leo. How are we going to come into expression of what's within us? And a square to Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio says we got to face the darkness. And maybe facing the darkness is us realizing that it's not our darkness. We took on this shame, this deep repressed program shame around our power and who we are. Really, we've just been taking the blame for the manipulators, that stole our power, manipulated it away from us, used it for evil acts of destruction, and then turned around and set us up and blamed us for those evil acts. And this is so deep in the supernova soul. This is the deep, hidden, repressed shame. And it's what's in the way of your light, and it's not even your shame. It's just programming. But it's really important that we understand this so it can be healed. That everywhere you falter when you go to be true in the moment is because of this shame. That somehow we accepted a negative, a punishment, an attack, that with our light and healing. And that's what needs to be corrected. There is no negative to the mother's love. Yes, we've had a very distorted feminine, and that feminine has got to heal, because the energy of competition and ownership, those are masculine qualities that have their place. The feminine has been infected, which what you could call the dark mother, that is about control and manipulation and, eating her young, feeding off her young, the narcissistic mother. So this is kind of the model that they've sold us of Mother Earth, and it's false, fake. It's like an AI version of Mother Earth, I think we have an LED sun and we need to go back to incandescent. Now, this is the crazy thing, because the message is that we are, the incandescent lights are so important. If you change all your light bulbs, you can get them online. You can't really get them at the store yet. I heard that you'll know the war is over when you can buy incandescent light bulbs on the shelf at the store. And so the incandescent light bulb, there's a download around this, that the simple technological process that allows that light to happen is exactly what's going on in our field as we activate into our light body. So we are the sun, the true organic original sun, bringing humanity back to Mother Earth, because it's all about this relationship between the masculine and the feminine, the earth and the water and the light and the fire. And so we have been at odds with each other, but it is now a time of alchemy. So it's very powerful that on the 1st, Venus moves over into the sign of Cancer. And this is like, she has gone through so much with that retrograde, with Mercury back into Pisces and Aries and the rebirth of the feminine. And now she proves herself. She comes into Cancer. She says, well, is this important? Is this real? What is it like for the energy of Mother's Garden that everything around her is loved and cared for, feels loved and cared for? What would this world be like? It'd be much easier to bring forward our sacred treasures, that we've been carrying for Mother Earth, wouldn't it? And so you carry this field, but you have to say yes to it yourself. And this is one of the most important messages from her right now, that is about that it's hard for people to connect with her because it's so beautiful and it's so loving, and we don't feel that we deserve it, and we're so fractured and broken from structured religion that the moment you start sounding like a spiritual movement, then you're a cult, but the water, if we're going to talk about Mother Earth, the consciousness of Mother Earth is the waters. It's our consciousness, right? Because we're her body, she's our body. And the work of Dr. Emoto, so sacred and powerful, showing us that the water is consciousness and the water responds to our message. The subconscious always responds. And so we've been doing affirmations and visionings and being in the energy and all this stuff, but there's a message about like the AI agenda and play out of this thing we're going through, is important piece to understand that we're programmable. In our organic state, we're programmable. And that we have to just kind of get to the facts, ma'am, and continue to repeat, not affirmations, but truths, that I'm surrounded by support and people who are just as excited about what I'm excited about. My true people. I am supported by this world. I'm held. I'm moving into abundance. I'm healing. So this is the really important message that's come through from the Venus square Mars, is like it's so entrenched, and it's so kind of seductive, this energy of opposition and war. And it's weird because we know we have to have our boundaries so strong, and we have to be so determined, and we have to be connected with our will. And it's like, and we've only done that in battle. See, maybe this is the distortion of the masculine that's healing, right? Like, can we take that masculine power in alignment with Mother and collaborate, And so everything that comes at you as an opposition, see, she's saying everything must come around to Mother. And so you can program your field and the waters of your body and Mother Earth that you're surrounded by alignment and support. And so then we're talking to the waters of our body, we're talking to the waters of the earth, and so what do you want to tell the earth? A great thing is just, I love you so much. Tell the waters you love them so much. Tell your body you love it so much. Tell Mother Earth you love it so much. Everything that you share with the earth comes back tenfold. And this is where she says, this is not a time to stop unless you're in mindful presence. Keep moving, go slow, and adjust along the way, but keep moving with momentum. And it's very strange because it's like, wait a minute, this is Mercury retrograde, where typically things just slow down. So we're coming to the midpoint of the Mercury retrograde. The Mercury stays retrograde for about 3 weeks, and then there's about a week and a half on either end of the shadow. And so we're right in the middle of this whole cycle. And that is saying that we are having to go back in order to see who we really are, in order to pave new ways forward. Because Mercury in Leo is about coming into that expression of what's within us. So, Venus moving into Cancer is quite a shift of energy. And Mars, that puts, with Mars and Virgo, it's a sweet energy of really being able to move forward in the dream. And so but Venus in Cancer moving right over, and this like, oh, this sweet and loving feeling that she loves so much of everyone around her cared for. And then she comes right into square with Saturn and Neptune at that 1 degree marker. But 1 degree is this wholeness. Aries is wholeness. Aries represents the I am, the potential, the seed, the like everything humanity can become, right? Like the full incarnation of Christ consciousness. And so the 1 is a wholeness. See, we're bringing back the divergent parts of ourselves and healing that great divide within, the battle within, so that we can heal the battle without. So we have to make this radical turnaround where we're going from understanding the opposition. Can you thank and love the opposition? What would happen if we could really do that? Like, oh, thank you. I love you so much for being my opposition because you're my perfect resistance. And I'm not backing down now. And everything coming at me in the alchemy of the mother's love works for me. See, that's it. This isn't like a shift we're waiting for. It is the truth. And as soon as supernova souls can live this truth in their field, this is what we're doing. Now, the picture of this Venus square Saturn, now it's so powerful. We could talk about this all day, but like, so we know that Saturn coming up to Neptune exact is so intense. It's this energy of all of 2025. And it's saying that the reality, we have to merge the reality, our current reality, with the original dream at 1 degree, which is wholeness, completeness. We are all one. Really, this has been such a struggle with all of the horrible energy coming at you that is not reflective of who you are, supernova soul. And yet, is it deep, deep, deep in the repressed shame all the way back to Atlantean time? So we're digging it all out. We're excavating it all out. And we're just cleaning house and dying on all these levels, in our mind and our ego and everything we thought we were doing here, our identity, and coming to this one. And so what that power of everything coming at you, being like, okay, that's a reflection of me, and I am in charge of this light body reality. I can shift it on a dime. This is the power of owning your energetic field and understanding the power of our light body, the potential of our energetic field. The energetic field is more real, more powerful than our physical body. Everything that harms our physical body must first affect our field. So by owning our field, that owning your energetic field course, incredibly important for supernova souls. And thank you for this work on any level, just being aware of it, being here, being conscious of these concepts, because what we're doing is cutting. When all that shit happened in Atlantean time, we willingly gave our power to them to be misused. And we didn't know it's ours. And we're shameful about it, and we don't think we can handle it. And now we say, no, 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 no. But can we take back our power while we're still holding the blame for their catastrophes? So we've got to get this, excavate that shame and blame energy. How many supernovas will show up subconsciously in apology, right? People pleasers. Oh, just to deal with me and my light and my, like I'll make it all good for you, make sure that I'm safe over here psychically. And it's like, no more of that. No more. Like she says, show up here. Now, the picture of Saturn and Neptune is a knitting together of our current reality and the original dream and the potential of what Mother Earth wants to become as an ascension planet that she is becoming. And this is the thing, you can feel it, you can see it. Don't let the events of this world dupe you into thinking that we're not having this massive spiritual ascension right now. Ascension means a quickening, right? It's going faster. So it's our awakening is going faster and faster and faster, and nothing can stop it. I mean, they sure have tried, and I'm sorry that you've been so harassed. But why would you be harassed if you didn't have the power they want? What would be the point of them harassing you and targeting you if you didn't have something? So then we say, oh, if I've got something that they're wanting and they're going to go through all this to try to get from me, what happens if I use it for what I want, which is in alignment with Mother, which is this loved and cared for and healthy, beautiful image of what's possible in health and care. And that understanding that our consciousness and our organic energy, life force, is so much more powerful than their mechanisms, their technologies. They can be turned off with a flick of the switch. They've tried to turn us off. They turned us off back in Atlantean time, but guess what? That light is turning back on. And that's the energy. So Saturn and Neptune are both going to move back into Pisces. And then they're going to both move back into Aries. And so they move, Saturn will move, I think Neptune moves back into Aries at the end of January. Saturn will move back into Aries on February 15th, 2026, just in time for Valentine's Day. What a beautiful, beautiful energy of rebirthing Earth. It literally is what we're doing. And so your job as a craft person, it's this collaboration we're talking about, because we've got ones and twos. And so we're talking about coming into wholeness and then working together as two wholes to create more than the parts. And so that is the energy of creating a product or a craft, something real that manifests in the world. And so this whole picture of knitting together our current reality with the original dream and potential is a craft project. That is the energy of this new renaissance we're moving into, because we know that Saturn and Jupiter for about the next 200 years will be conjuncting every 20 years or so in air signs. So it's saying that we're moving into a time of artistic expression and bringing back the parts of our society and ourselves and our world that have been divergent: science and spirit, nature and art, and music and expression and beauty. That we are always taking into account the pristine, absolute perfection of Mother Earth's expression, and we mimic it in our buildings and our creations as a celebration of Mother's garden. And when you're there and she's there and you're there with her in Mother's garden, our field is fortified. We can do anything. And the animals and the birds respond in loving song and affection and celebration, giving absolute confirmation that we're on the right track. And so the new Renaissance is marked by the fact also that we're moving into this air trine kite that's coming up. And we have these planets are getting into position, and this is part of what we're feeling, because it's so powerful. Even one of these sextiles or trines, relationships that are happening to form this kite would be so intense. But the fact that it's all happening at once in a very systematic way. See, this is where we study astrology for eons until it starts to make sense. all the patterns line up. So it's like kind of random happenings, and then it's like in accelerated happenings that are lining up with a very powerful message. And so we must pay attention to this. And so now we're talking about knitting reality back together into the original dream, our organic, loving Mother Earth. And Venus moving into Cancer is this exalted expression of this, of like, yes, this beautiful expression of overflowing cup of love. But then in square to Saturn and Neptune, it's saying that to knit together our current reality with our potential and our organic original dream, we got to bring to nurture the feminine within us. Okay, so there's an energy of Venus and Cancer being like, the feminine is the nurturer, but if the feminine is not nurtured, then we run out of steam and juice on the planet, right? That's our mutually receptive relationship with Mother Earth. This is what's missing. Every indigenous culture got this spot on with perfection, the perfection of Mother Earth, of this mutually receptive appreciation, gratitude, love, and connection, energetic soul connection with Mother Earth. So we're missing this. And it's everything. Because if you feel connected to Earth, then you're not in poverty and you're not in fear. And the whole world has been controlled through poverty and fear. But there's this interesting thing about the feminine being nurtured, which I think is interesting, because we've been talking so much about the masculine having to come back around to the feminine. But the feminine is broken as fuck, you know? Like, and we've got to put her back together, and somehow the masculine has to get his head out of his ass and be ground out in the present moment and make sure that the goddess part of ourselves, the intuitive nature, the quiet, the listening, has space, is nurtured and supported. You know, like, this is the energy for supernova souls. You do the mother's work, you always have, and it has not been supported in this world, and it's just so incredibly frustrating. But now the message we tell ourselves, the reprogram, is the mother's work is supported first, is most important. Most important. And you know what? It could be major catastrophe that's required for humanity to come back to the mother's love, and yet that's not what we're doing, is it? Supernova souls, you are harmonizing this whole thing, and you're so amazing. And I love you so much, and thank you so much for never giving up on this vision. And that's where we have to be like, well, in this time right now, the tide has gone out. Everywhere out there is going to argue and compete with your vision of mother's love. And then, but it's this alchemy moment where we're turning it all around. And we do that right here in our field with our resolution to own that alignment, you know, because it's only through the alignment with Mother Earth that we have full permission to create, move into our co-creator status. So again, there's no other way forward, is to come back. And so Venus has this in her heart, in her soul. But we're addressing the broken feminine that needs nurturing. And it's cool that Mars is coming to the end degrees of Virgo. So it's a culmination of this kind of desire to heal and clean the earth. It's like, oh, well, maybe I want to take care of the healer in me if I want to heal the earth. And just a very powerful turning around here. And the crux of the issue is through this first week, through the 4th or 5th, Venus square Saturn and Neptune. And so what is it going to take for the feminine, Mother Earth, to be nurtured, to feel nurtured enough to continue nurturing us, for the feminine to feel nurtured enough? The feminine has been doing the job of the masculine and the feminine. And we have this whole story about how the feminine, the invisible arts don't have any value in this world. We're going to see a big change in this. We know we're leading it and we're representing it. And the invisible will be acknowledged and valued. And it's kind of like, maybe that goes back to our energy field, the power we have to acknowledge the invisible in our life, the abundant wealth that we carry, and honor it in every moment. So it's very powerful energies of the Venus square. Now so that's just that first week of August. It's just intense. It's like, trying to wrangle back nurturing and love in this world. And so just know that, but it's really about infusing and knitting together in our craft project, our new renaissance, knitting back together these realities, right? And so we believe the dream in order to be the dream. And this is represented now. The Kali Yuga is over, and that's the energy of this kite that we're moving into. So this is so epic because we've got Venus coming into square with Saturn and Neptune on this. So Venus comes into square with them, moves into Cancer the same day that they finally come into exact conjunction at 1 degree, and this whole energy started at the beginning of May. So 3 months of preparation for this moment. And at this moment, Venus comes into square in Cancer. She's staking her ground. She's staking her claim. You're saying that we're going to do this on Mother Earth. We're going to do it Mother Earth's way. But it's like this strength within us, right? And so everything is about taking that opposition with Venus square Mars and using it to rewrite and reknit our reality. So it's a challenge, but at the same time, we've got this beautiful kite formation happening. So Saturn and Neptune exactly at 1 degree Aries are the top of the kite. And then the kite shape is like a Charlie Brown kite, like a diamond shape. And so at the top is 2 little triangles. Those are the sextiles. So Saturn and Neptune there at 1 degree Aries, the beginning of a new whole humanity. An exact sextile to Uranus. Uranus is moving to 1 degree on the 4th of August. Very powerful energy of Gemini. And then also in sextile with Pluto at 2 degrees of Aquarius. So then we have a grand, when Mars comes into this, which we're starting to feel as of the 4th. So that's interesting, right? Because we've got Venus in that square with Saturn and Neptune through the 4th. And then on the 4th, we start to feel Mars in the kite. So Mars is in that exact trine, first with Uranus, and then opposition. Also opposition with Saturn and Neptune, so Mars in Libra, and then in exact trine to Pluto's in Aquarius. So grand Earth trine, that's the body between Pluto and Aquarius, Uranus and Gemini, and Mars and Libra. It's so powerful because Mars is fighting for the balance of the whole. The masculine is on board with the balance of the whole, And so, and it's like typically that opposition of Mars opposite Saturn and Neptune. So isn't this powerful? Because we just had Venus-Mars square last week, and then now we have Venus square Saturn and Neptune, and then Mars will oppose. But when Mars opposes Saturn and Neptune, he makes a kite. See? It doesn't nothing has to work against us anymore. If it does, it's for us, right? And so instead of being in a battle against the invaders in our body, the toxins, the nanotech, the information, the vibration, the entities, right? It's like, no, we bring in the most powerful, perfected image of health in Mother's Garden. Understanding that water, her blood, her consciousness is born. It's not made. It's born. There's a never-ending amount of abundance for us here. And so we are being reborn into this consciousness of knowing that we're loved and cared for. So then Mars opposition with Saturn and Neptune will be August 9th and 10th. And so that's when the kite begins to take off. And the kite is like Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. We got to go back in order to get the visionary leaders on board. We got to break down the ego of what's keeping our who we were in Atlantean time as leaders to come forward, right? Visionary leaders of the Aquarian age. So we're figuring that out. And then we've got the grand air trine is Uranus in Gemini. Finally, the higher truths are spoken in the world. We're not going to hide these higher truths anymore. You know, there's just too many people that understand that everything we live is a lie. And if we're going to take back our energy and our reality and our earth, then we need to uncover the lies. You know, we're never going to be able to come into sovereignty and autonomy until we understand how we were captured. And so that's got to come to light. And that's the voice, right? It's the voice of the feminine. It's the new renaissance too. It's putting back together spirit and science. Now, then, at the third part of the grand air trine is Mars and Libra. That desire to fight for the perfect balance of masculine and feminine, the sacred marriage within, the scalar wave that can be created by the perfect balance of opposites. So that's a very magical time. The 9th, 10th will have that intensity, but then the kite is going to lift us up into a new possibility if we can take advantage of it, you know? And so Mars in Libra fighting for the perfect balance, opposite of Saturn and Neptune, exactly at 1 degree. So this is so powerful because from the beginning of May to the end of September, Saturn and Neptune together at exactly 1 degree. Within that time frame, starting on the day that they come into exact conjunction, Venus in square. And then Mars will be in opposition at 1 degree while they're still exact too. So you can see how this is all playing out to the story of the sacred marriage and the balancing of the masculine and feminine, the coming back to that spiritual expression of relationships as healing for the world. Sounds scary, supernova souls, huh? Because you've been mistreated, ignored, rejected, manipulated, betrayed again and again and again. And that trauma after trauma over lifetimes, right? Because we took on that energy of shame that there was something bad about our light. So we're apologizing in every situation. So we've invited on a subconscious level abusive relationships because we couldn't stand up for the wealth and power within. Now we stand up for the wealth and power within. So there needs to be a great adjustment in our relationships. And that we have to demand and command that those around us give us ultimate respect, the mutual reciprocity that we want to give Mother Earth, we want to see in the world. And that's all that can happen in our realm. You are owning your realm. That's what this is saying, that we have to have this autonomy within our field in order to move into the sacred collaboration. And then in the power of that autonomy, we understand that we have this incredible technology available to us. So a lot of supernova souls are feeling attacked in weird ways, targeting through strange situations and electromagnetic attack, perhaps. This is the power of the Owning Your Energetic Field course. And the picture is like when you can understand this power and work with Mother Earth, that fortifies. When you do stop, she says, right? Breathe and fortify in total consciousness, then keep moving. But when we're fortified in her field, in our field, and we have anything come at us, whether it's a person or an energy or a directed energy weapon or my microwave frequencies, toxicity, poisoning, our field has the power through our consciousness and like literally an energy field to peel off, right? So it's kind of like, sometimes it feels like, okay, there's this imprint, but then what's happening as we own our energetic field is understanding it's just an imprint, it's just a message, right? And we are a coded message too. And now we're going to take back the codes, right? And so we tell ourselves, we reprogram through repetition what we want our subconscious to know, that we're loved and held by Mother Earth. We're surrounded by support. We might not see it, but we still believe it. See? The Earth is being reborn and we're a crucial part of it. And the future is amazing. And it's all unfolding perfectly. And whatever I feel coming against me in my consciousness and my power and my love can turn around to be a support. You know, this is when the supernova army builds their armies. that the slaves that were enslaved, energetic slaves, entities to do the dirty work on this earth are now working for mom again, you know? So this is everything that we're going through with this Mercury retrograde. If this is the case, then we really got to get prepared. We really got to get over this low self-worth and be willing to shine our abundance and not apologize for it. How can we be a vessel of abundance if we're apologizing for our abundance? Because there was a negative attack or, that opposition to our light, and we bought into it. Like in the Christ consciousness, the Christ, okay, well, you're going to come and shine your light, then everything's going to go against you, because that's just how it is in the Piscean age. So we have to change this now, and we've done so much work on it, but the message is that it's still deep down in that hidden subconscious, and Mercury square Black Moon Lilith is about uncovering that. Now, Mercury will come back into the third and final square. So Venus and Mars square just came off, and also we're just feeling the end of Mercury square Black Moon Lilith. We get a break from it, but Mercury will come back into the third and final square on August 26th as he comes out of retrograde shadow. And so that's a really powerful energy of where we can completely release that shadow of whatever deep hidden program, suppressed and repressed programmed shame might still be down in the nitty gritty, because underneath that is our treasure chest. So that's what we're doing here. And it's powerful that this week on the 1st, we've got the Sun and Mercury coming together. And this Mercury's just coming out of that square with Black Moon Lilith, retrograding back in through Leo. The Sun in Leo going over. Now the Sun and Mercury together is brilliant mind. And in Leo, it's about the brilliancy of the potential of the expression of humanity. And so there's a lot of clarity and downloads that can come when Mercury and the Sun are together. It's a brilliant mind. It's like, oh, I get it. I see it. And it's about who you are in your truth. So Mercury going retrograde and coming up to the Sun is saying we got to look back in order to understand who we really are in our light, so we can forge new pathways forward. And so powerful, the Sun then comes into the square with Black Moon Lilith, right? It's like, all right. And then so we're facing these shames. We're talking about our identity. But maybe instead of like clearing the shame and all that, we should just drop the false identities and bring in that beautiful whole person that we know we are, that advanced soul, our full incarnation. Because none of that toxicity or technology or infiltration can exist when we're fully incarnate. And that's what we've seen from the beginning, the message saying that supernova souls, you are not whole and complete. There's a part of you missing. You couldn't fully come into your body this time for a multitude of reasons. For your safety, you didn't get to know who you are. You're in this secret witness protection program. And past life traumas and divergent timelines. We've been jumping all over the place trying to put ourselves back together. And guess what? I think it's working. So we are releasing everything that is keeping us from coming into the expression of our potential with this Mercury retrograde. So the Sun square Black Moon Lilith happens on the 7th of August, and we'll be feeling that through the 11th. And that's the day that Mercury turns direct. So then Mercury will head right back into his final square with Black Moon Lilith. So we've got like Mercury for a whole month and square to Black Moon Lilith, the Sun, and then Mercury again. So there's something really powerful saying that there is still hidden darkness eclipsing our light. And now we dig it out. Get rid of it. And so it's just an incredibly powerful time. And, these squares or Venus and square to Saturn and Neptune, and then Mars opposite Saturn and Neptune, but in the kite. And then it's really powerful and sweet that Venus will come back around, Venus and Mars will come back around into a grand water trine. So in October through December, we'll be feeling a very powerful grand water trine, which is between Saturn having gone back into Pisces to complete the Piscean age, right? And trine to Jupiter in Cancer, and in trine to Black Moon Lilith and Scorpio. Now, Jupiter has been in in trine to Black Moon Lilith for the last few weeks, and we'll feel that through the end of the year. So that's really powerful because Jupiter in Cancer is saying expanding into the nurturing, into the love, into the mother's love, but yeah, got a dark mark. The feminine arts, the intuition, the healing, the emotions, the connection, got a dark mark, and it must be removed. So that's kind of the energy there. So this epic coming together, an understanding of who we are and what's in the way of us shining our potential on August 1st, the same day that Venus comes into this square. So it's like we're just so much lining up and speaking to us. And the kite shape is saying, yeah, it's tense, it's intense, it's a big shift. We're like turning the corner on our whole reality, but it can be harmonized. And that's the energy of that grand water trine that happens in. So we've got the kite. Mars triggers the kite this month in August, September, Mercury, and then October, Venus. Sweet. Lifting up all these aspects of ourselves, putting ourselves back together, lifting up into something new, and then moving into this grand water trine where Saturn and Jupiter, we're talking about, they're the generational change makers, conjunction every 20 years. We just had the square over this last year. Now they're going to move into trine and a water trine, and it's so sweet and harmonizing. He says, yeah, this is a massive shift and a complete transformation, but it's harmonized. We can do this. We can face the darkness. We can expand into the nurturing, back into the mother's love. And so what Mars and Venus will be taking turns in Scorpio, meeting up with Black Moon Lilith, facing the darkness, and harmonizing back into the light. And then moving into the new year, 2026, when we have Saturn and Neptune moving back into Aries, then we will have knit together enough of a fabric to catch humanity as, the glorious demolition of all the current structures. So it's very, very powerful. And so the other thing we need to talk about after Venus comes out of this square, because we know that Saturn and Jupiter were just in square together. And so after Venus completes the square with Saturn and Neptune at 1 degree of Cancer and Aries, then Venus will move into a conjunction with Jupiter on the 13th of August. So we're going to feel that right there for the middle part of August. And this is so powerful because now we've got Venus. She came into the challenge of the timeline saying, nope, we're going to do it Mom's way. And there's no two ways about it. And then a conjunction with Jupiter, right? So it's this achievement by Venus that the divine feminine, the honoring of the divine feminine, motherly arts, healing arts, which works through masculine and feminine, are reestablished here in this realm and honored. It's so powerful. And it's like an overflowing cup of the mother's love. And now then Mars will be interacting with Jupiter and will come into square with Jupiter on the 5th of September. So right there, that first weekend of September, very powerful energies because Mars moves into the sign of Libra on the 7th of August, and that's what will bring him into the kite. And so in Libra, Mars and Libra in square to Jupiter and Cancer, saying that we have to work hard on our relationships and the balance between the masculine and the feminine within, the perfect guard and the perfect balance, in order to expand into the mother's love. And then expanding into the mother's love also helps us heal these relationships. So it's so powerful, the messages, and we could go on and on, but the big one, the big tension of this the rest of the year is going to be when Jupiter comes into square with Chiron. And that will be sometime. Here it is. The exact square with Jupiter and Chiron will be, we'll be feeling it from the end of September through the middle of January. And it's exact from the second part of October and again at the end of the year. So from the end of September through, and especially the second part of October and through the middle of January, we're going to be feeling Jupiter in Cancer in square to Chiron in Aries. So this is the definitive marker where humanity can take back their power. Say the mother's love is stronger. Consciousness is stronger than your machines and mechanisms. Like, we're taking back our world now. There's no two ways about it. It's the power of the mother's love. We're not going to fight against you anymore. We're just going to come in with the most powerful, pristine, perfection image of healing and love, and we're going to overcome the world with a tsunami of love, the overflowing cup. And we're not going to fight about it anymore. We're going to take all the battles and we're going to use that energy to create, finally, this beautiful, beautiful new world where everything we create is so beautiful and in alignment artistically and spiritually with Mother Earth. What a beautiful celebration. What life is meant to be. And you have this within you. Don't let it go. Just hold on to it. Believe it to see it. And so that Jupiter square Chiron is going to be the definitive square, and that Jupiter turns retrograde in the middle of November. And so that's the energy there of like Jupiter saying, wait a minute, have we expanded enough into nurturing to take back our energetic power, from where it's been stolen, to come back into the wholeness of the I am. Chiron in Aries is like the wounds of where we gave our power away, where we gave our full potential away, where we gave our spiritual potential of the I am consciousness, of the full potential of what humanity can be, and we just handed it over, And so there's a lot of grief coming up too around our connection to the earth, of course, with all of this Cancer energy. Venus moving into Cancer is going to probably bring that forward. But then Venus, Jupiter, what a celebration of the victory of Mother's love. And then we execute that victory and completely take back our power near the end of the year with that Jupiter square Chiron. And then we celebrate victory of a knitted together new reality. And thank you so much, SuperNovas. You are such badasses. And so this week on the 1st, Mercury, Sun, and then Venus in Cancer square Saturn and Neptune. And so just hang in there, because it's like we're rocking the boat in order to get back into a better alignment, And so whatever's coming your way is about an adjustment, a correction. This is huge, she's saying right now. I can just feel this message coming through. This is a time of correction. We're knitting back together. We're correcting. And so whatever is off is your opportunity to correct it. And Mom can do it through your field, just through intention and love. Like we're the correction. It feels so good. When you're alone, you're hurting, you're in pain, and then this is the energy of the mother's love, and there's just nothing wrong with it. And it was demonized and turned into a horrible, horrible image of a dark succubus. It's not. It's overflowing cup of love. And if we could just continue to nurture and talk to this love, it will continue to nurture us tenfold. And everything you put nurturing into, a lot of us are overwhelmed with things we have to care for, like pets and children and family members, and SuperNova souls, you just do so much service in the world. Thank you. But this is the mother's work and mother's love. It is so healing. If you could see from the other side after you pass, like after a person passes from this body and looks down, like the wealth you get to have with you is where you made someone feel good. It's so simple. It's so simple, and it's been made so evil. And this is the correction. And it's correction back to the abundant source that water comes from within the earth, not out there. The love we need and have comes from within us, not out there. This is the big trick. And we're the correction. Thank you so much for being here and for your support. It means so much to me to feel you out there. These are such powerful and intense times, and don't let anyone tell you different. Step into this moment. You cannot talk to any astrologer throughout this whole evolution who wouldn't say that this is the most monumental moment of Venus and Neptune coming together, and that we're going to step into that dream. We're going to believe that dream and see that dream, manifest and unfold that dream through our co-creations. A beautiful, beautiful gift. You are such a gift, and do not let one energy, person, frequency tell you different. They want you to feel impoverished. They want you to feel scarcity. They want you to feel alone, unrecognized, and not worthy, rejected, demonized. And it's like, no, I'm not accepting that. That's an external overlay on my field, and I can peel it off. She says, peel it off. You're the snake. Let your fire come so strong, not against anyone, but for the energy that's coming back into our world. And enjoy this energy of co-creation now that you know you're in alignment with Mother. So we did a beautiful establishing of an energy field in that last activation, the Leo new moon activation. If you didn't catch that and you need fortification in your field, go get it, because we had this beautiful dance of creating a garden, a labyrinth, a place, a sacred place, sacred psychic space, and then that young brave, that divine masculine dancing and loving on the earth and establishing Mother's garden. And so what a cool energy and an opportunity to break contracts, to seal up the pinhole leak in our energy fields. The key that seals it up was confiscated by the Atlantean Council. So if all of this resonates on any level of like, go get that replay of the Leo new moon activation. Those activations are what you need in the moment, Supernova souls. It's a direct download that you bring the information. And so it's such powerful work, and I really appreciate you being with me. It means so much to me, and being a part of the Supernova Soul tribe. Thank you so much for being a member, never missing an activation, and we can be together in that way. So go catch that replay, and please just consider also other ways to support this movement and you and all Supernova souls by working with that Owning Your Energetic Field course, or also those techniques of owning your field are in the Goddess activation. It's kind of nice to have the intuitive training or the Owning Your Energetic Field. The Owning Your Energetic Field course is a synthesized, concentrated version of the intuitive training. And but that's about understanding the anatomy, your spiritual anatomy, and the power you have in your field. And then the Goddess activation is for men and women. It's about accessing this creation energy in your body, in our field. And so it's kind of like you establish that autonomy, then you can stir up those creative juices. And so they're beautiful classes, but both of them are going to help you own your field. And that Goddess activation, super sweet, interacting with the archetypes of the goddesses as healers for our different chakras. And so you can really feel the presence of these goddesses come into your life, and really fun information coloring pages, so you can meditate and be present with that energy, that archetype, that divine feminine archetype, as a way to unleash the creative forces in your life. And so really beautiful work there, and it's such a great support right now. Also, if you could kick a donation, that's super appreciated for these offerings, this ad-free space for us to be together in the sacred time, Supernovas. And so there's a link to donate below, and I'm also offering a limited number of individual sessions, and so there's information about that and also on my website. So last year in September for the equinox, Supernova Souls got together in Western Montana for a retreat, and we're going to do it again this year. And so I'm so excited to invite you to Hot Springs, Montana over the equinox, September 19th through the 22nd. 3 days of rest and rejuvenation, connecting with the waters. This is hot springs with one of the highest mineral contents in the whole world and incredibly powerfully healing. And so to come together at these sacred locations and heal and celebrate the waters. So this is also going to be incorporated as a water festival, a way to connect with Mother Earth and through the waters. And so with water experts and information and understanding about how we can better connect and heal and love the waters of the earth and our body. So I hope that you can consider coming to that 3-day retreat. I'll put information about that retreat in the information box below as well. And so it's Supernova Water Festival. It's like, what? Supernova? Water? What? And that's kind of the energy of this is that water, the sun, is water. This is the mystery that we have as lovers and children of Mother Earth, the raw materials. We have influence and permission to work with the elemental forces. We're no longer a prisoner trapped by our weather, So this is really important for us to kind of open up to, like I said, talking about the Great Mother, Mother Earth really works for us, I think, Supernova Souls, because we were there in the Celtic lands. We were there in Avalon. We were there when we lived in this massive and beautiful energy of Mother's Garden on the earth, an expression of these arts, as women and men. And so that's really, really important for us. And so in this time of these crucial moments, to take advantage of what we've got here, of this sway, of this shift, of this turn, and giving ourselves permission to come back into this creative, co-creative expression. I saw a article or a demonstration of going back to pictures before satellites, that there's different stars that are no longer in our night sky. And this is something that it was mentioned in the Edgar Cayce readings as a significator of these end times. The apocalypse, this is really a removing of the veil. And so I feel like maybe this brings it all back around for us supernovas, that we haven't been able to fully be here because we're so big and too big for this place, and it wasn't safe for us to know who we were or to be fully incarnate. We also have parts of ourselves stuck in other timeline frequencies from traumatic past lives. Karmic relationships with our family members kept us from being able to fully inhabit our body in this lifetime. So a multitude of factors has kept us, but this is one of the first pieces of information that came through the downloads around us supernova souls. And that is very powerful to think that maybe that's real, that our star self is incarnating. That star represented the part of you that couldn't yet be here. Is it also a giant that lays as a mountain on the earth? Awakening. Awaken, sleeping giants. Anyway, so this is part of the energy. The supernova is such a powerful image for us because the definition of a supernova soul is that you've had previous experiences as an advanced soul on earth. And so you already have had this, and you have full permission and knowledge and awareness once you awaken to it to bring this into form. And so supernova souls are incarnating. This is kind of, we have to understand that this is kind of where we're at. And this whole process of the next 6 to 8 months moving into the new year is about teetering on the edge, of that old reality and the new dream, and the old dream and the current reality and the new possibilities, as these planets do this dance. It's like, yeah, we got to go back into the dungeons of the Piscean age, but only to uncover who we are and our treasures and fully bring that forward. So the fire and the water and the supernova, the mother and the water seat of like understanding that, and we'll do more education and consciousness, but by connecting with the waters, we can, it's almost like a different brand that's not so scary religious spirituality, but can bring people back to a spiritual life. And so I think the water festival is a beautiful picture because the water brings us all together and it connects us all. And Montana is a headwaters. Here we have the rivers flow in both directions to the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean. And so here at the headwaters, we have the pristine picture of the primary waters of the perfection. And by communing, we can be that healthy picture in the world to all the waters. And so we're getting out of the fight and the battle against and the detox, and we're turning it around, just bringing in this massive empowered vision and picture of health and mother's love, right? She turns it all around. She can bend spoons. You can do that in your reality. She says you have the authority to correct. You got some nasty energy working through somebody around you, like we've been dealing with, this constant harassment. You can bend reality. It doesn't even have to take effort. You got to do it from here, though. Grounded, in alignment, and the prayer all is coming into alignment. All around me is coming. The bigger your field, the more authority you have to bring it into alignment with the mother. And so this is the strength and confidence we're finding as we clear out that subconscious shame. So anyway, consider that retreat in September. I would love to celebrate the waters with you and heal and come together. So look forward to more information about that, and you can sign up. The information to sign up will be below. So thank you so much for being here, Supernovas, and for being you and for making it through all you've made it through. I know you're tired, really spiritually tired, but guess what? That means that it is a time of rest. We have to take a rapid and quick time of deep healing, rest, rejuvenation, so that we can really get ready to roll, And it's hard because it's not until the pressure lets up that you can feel the feelings, feel the grief. Our nervous system, from the energies attack we've been under on the earth, is like we're just in constant tension and stress in our body. And so we're reclaiming this peace, and you have the power to do that. That is your mandate as a supernova soul, just like the primary water, the structured water that we're going to be learning more about. The mandate is to remove the waste and bring in a healthy picture to activate what it originally wants to be. What you, supernova soul, want to be, what the earth wants to be. And so you are the primary water and the structured water for the earth, removing the toxins by bringing in a picture of health, and bringing in that pristine knowing and awareness and believing in that healthy picture. And so you are activating what Mother Earth wants to be, what the potential within, and you're doing that for the whole world and with yourself and everyone around you. You are such a gift and a treasure, and it is a travesty the way you've been treated. It's the exact opposite of the way it should be. So are you ready for this ship to turn around? Can you graciously receive the adoration and the support, the love, the recognition? Can you stand in your confidence and know you deserve it? Because you are badass. And that's what this time is about. Mercury, Sun. We got to see it to believe it. And maybe it's seeing who we really are as our star self. We've been taught to fear it. But really, is there anything to fear? Just the programming, So very intense and powerful times. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate you, and I cannot wait to be together in person. It's going to be happening. We're getting together at these power spots. What does Mother want us to do? We've been asking. She says, get together at these power spots, these vortexes where the primary water is close, right under the ground. We can talk to her, and we can bring in that healthy image of what that vortex on earth, what that water wants to become, and release the traumas and tragedies, the overlay on the land. Just like our energetic field, fortified, can just peel off. Mother Earth can just peel off these wars and traumas and tragedies and horrible things that have happened on her. Just peel it off. And so that's what we do. She says, dance and sing and play. That's what you need to do. Be in celebration with me. Talk to me. Be mutual reciprocity. And so when we talk to the waters, we're talking to her, and we're bringing the whole world back. So I hope you'll consider that SuperNova Water Festival, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. The next lunation is really important. I can't believe I didn't talk about it. The Aquarius Full Moon is on Saturday, August 9th, when all this stuff is happening. When Mars will be triggering that kite. And so very powerful Aquarius full moon, and that's happening at 17 degrees of Aquarius. And that will be just one sign over, not too far from the nodes of the moon. And so it's also this destiny, the kite lifting up. It's our destiny. You know, we're owning it. It's our destiny. It's written. It's there. We already won. Now we step into it. And so very powerful energy for that Aquarius full moon happening at 17 degrees, Aquarius, 0 minutes. 17 is a very powerful number of hidden mysteries, secrets, spiritual secrets, like the power within us. And 1 in 7 is 8. It's transformation through the power of Christ consciousness. So that's a very intense energy, and it's right there for that Lionsgate portal. It's all lining up. Is it lining up for you, or are you going to let those forces out there, mechanisms of control technology, tell you it's not lining up for you? Mother says it's lining up for you. The astrology says it's lining up for you. Tell your body it's lining up for you. You're surrounded by support. You're moving into your dream. It's happening. It's not about visualizing it. Like I said, it's just about a subconscious repeated message to your subconscious, because you're talking to the earth and you're loving the earth as you say these words. And your bodies respond. They always respond. The water always responds. Our subconscious always responds. That's the feminine. You know, she's going to respond. The waters respond when we say hateful things too. And so what does the water respond to? Like the feminine in each of us, with care and nurturing and respect. What would be the water's response? That little girl in all of us being in a delightful garden of safety and security to explore and create. A beautiful world lies ahead, and nothing can stop it. Thank you for being that force in the world. I love you so much. May you be showered with abundant blessings, and you better get ready. So I look forward to seeing you soon on the next update. Thank you so much for your support. I love you so much, SuperNova souls. I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.